let's start, okay? Because we have so many things interesting to speak in this session. I'm an Angel Garcia, as you can see. Probably you saw me in the message, you're welcome. Or if it's not, just let you know, I'm the owner of the group Modern Employee Management. And right now we are going to see a very interesting session from one of the main sponsors, is Nexink. And who better than Yassine, as Chief Strategy Officer, correct me, okay, who is going to explain us, because your solution, it could save a lot of work to many people that is in our community. I guess so. And that is what is our here, love to hear from you. That's what exactly we want to hear, because, you know, getting solution that help us to improve our daily job, our daily task is welcome. So, Yassine, why don't you go ahead, present yourself, and let us know more about Nexink. Then we're going to jump into question and answer, and then we're going also to present it for the top 10 of the most voted posts. Okay?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Angel. Thank you for inviting me. Great to be with this fantastic community. You know, we have been at Nexink since the beginning, since 14 years, working exclusively and mostly with workplace management teams, with end user computing, you know, teams. And it's such a pleasure for me to be today presenting to all of you. As Angel said, myself, I am today the Chief Strategy Officer of Nexink. I run the product marketing, the corporate marketing, the technology alliances, but I have been in Nexink since now more than 13 years. I was the employee number 6 at Nexink. And so you can imagine in the beginning of a company like Nexink, you know, we use it to have to do everything from engineering, from technical, from, you know, delivering the project, from selling. So it has been quite a great journey. And today, you know, if you are not familiar with Nexink today, we have more than 1,100 customers, totalizing 15 million endpoints and employees who are actually using Nexink every single day. And that's all over the world, mainly, of course, in Europe and in the US, where we are having, you know, multiple projects. Also, if you are not familiar with Nexink, the majority of the managed service providers who are doing a lot of work in workplace management and end user computing are using Nexink in the majority of their projects. So, and you know, why maybe we call it this session, the real-time end-to-end, you know, workplace analytics. And I wanted maybe to take you through, you know, a couple of, you know, maybe slides, maybe just 5 or 7 minutes to explain, you know, how Nexink started and what is our concept and what we believe and how we are trying to help the workplace management community every single day. Then I will take you through maybe 10 minutes, you know, real demo to give you a sense of the product and the technology and how it works, how actually end user computing teams, they are using Nexink every single day. And as Angel said, that will take us maybe 25, 30 minutes. And then we can switch to the session that everybody is expecting, including myself, which is the award winners. So let me share with you my screen and take you again, as I said, you know, through maybe, you know, an overview of how Nexink started and why we had this idea 14 years ago and what we are trying to do every single day. 14 years ago, our idea was that, you know, end user computing teams are responsible on delivering the digital workplace to an employee, to all the employees in the company, and to enable the employees to do their work. And when we say an employee doing his work, for us, it didn't mean only his device. It didn't mean only, his configurations on his device. It meant, is the employee capable to actually do the full digital journey from his device till the last feature in any application he's using? That's what was for us, what means, enabling an employee to work. And we believe that, the end user computing, community are into some, strange pressure that when an employee is not capable to work, he doesn't know why he's not able to work. He doesn't know whether it is his device, whether it is his connectivity, whether it is the privileges, whether it is something running in the back. But in the end, he turns to the workplace management team, and themselves, they need to answer that question. And that problem is getting worse and worse because we need to do it across all employees. We need to do that across all the computing platforms, all the devices, all the virtualized, environment, whether it is hosted or not hosted. And we need to do that across all the types of connectivity, whether it is corporate network, whether today people are working from home with their Wi-Fi, and we need to do that work across all the applications that an employee is going to use, whether it is hosted in our environment, whether it is a SaaS application, whether it is virtualized. And when we look at that time, what workplace management teams have in their hands to actually do that job extremely well, it seemed to us that, they have a huge mission, but maybe they are lacking something. They're lacking, not like the other teams. They are lacking what gives them the whole scope and the whole understanding of what is happening to the employees. Because, of course, the workplace management team, they have the endpoint management or the unified endpoint management that is helping them to do the configuration, that is helping them to roll out software, to configure devices, to configure privileges. But when there is a problem, or when we want to know whether employees are able to work or not, those kind of solutions are not given us, whether the employee, whether Yassine is able to connect or not. Now, we'll give you one example. Yesterday, it happened to me. I was in a session with Gartner, and Gartner, they want us to use their WebEx, and I could not connect. So I asked our, workplace management team inside Nexthink. The problem is that our collaboration solution is Teams, is not WebEx. And they could not even see anything happening to me. They could not understand what is happening because they have no information about how WebEx is running or whether, what kind of connection I need and so on and so on. But, in this case, if it's a SaaS application, the workplace management team will find themselves, not able to answer the question because even they don't have the information from the SaaS vendor, especially if we are using in a company, many of SaaS applications. Imagine, we have to wait for all of their answers. And those SaaS vendors, what they know is their scope, whether their application is running or not. They will not say to the workplace management team how the employees are using the application. Of course, we have our friends who are having what they need to deliver their scope, which is infra monitoring solution or application monitoring solution. But again, the scope of that understanding is purely on the back end, is not saying whether the connectivity is right, whether there is a problem on the device, whether the device having the right performance to actually give the right connectivity to the employee. And, the network monitoring solution, the network teams, they have what they need for their scope to see whether parts of the network is working and they are working well. But also, they are not able to answer the workplace management team on whether employees are capable to work or not. And on top of that, what seemed to us even unfair for the workplace management teams, that not only they don't have a solution that covers all this complicated and strategic scope they want to deliver, but they get judged maybe by a couple of surveys that maybe the HR is running or the CFO is running, who is asking in a subjective manner to the employees whether they are satisfied with their digital workplace or not. And that seemed to us, a major problem that since the start we wanted to solve. And that's how we built Nexthink from the beginning, which is we said, look, if the workplace management team, their mission is to make every single employee works and do his job, we need to have an understanding of everything the employee is going through with every detail possible, and not from the infra perspective, but also from the employee perspective. So what Nexthink gonna do, and what Nexthink is doing, is as if we are sitting with every single employee, and the understanding of the digital journey of every single employee is done from the employee perspective. So we will take the employee viewpoint and we're going to understand what is happening to the employee, because it is nice to know that an application is running, but it is much nicer to know whether the employee is capable to use it or not. It's nice to know that the device has the right specs, but it's nicer to know whether that is exactly what the employee needs and whether he's capable to work with it. But also when we are trying to understand what is happening to the employee, we're going to be as deep as necessary, which means taking the employee perspective from his device till the last feature or the last transaction or whatever that he's doing across any application. It's not only monitoring parts of it, it's really know exactly what is happening to him through all the flow that he's using. And we're gonna do that, we said to ourselves, is in order to make the job easier for the workplace management team, we're gonna do the same thing for all the employees at the same time. And we're gonna do it for all employees from wherever they are connecting, from wherever they are working, whether home, whether office, whether from Starbucks, whether from a train. And we're gonna do it as deep as necessary for all of them. Because if we want to understand immediately what is working, what is not working, to replicate what is working and to avoid what is not working, it is necessary to know everything for all the employees, correlate the data immediately, see what is the difference between the employees who are capable to work and the others who are not capable to work. And so the problem or the thing that needs to be changed or the great thing that needs to be replicated gonna be understood extremely fast. And to avoid, knowing, as I said before, just one scope of the relationships, just one scope of what is happening, whether it is backend completely irrelated from the device, whether it is device but completely not correlated with the application, we're going to also understand all the relationships between and inside the digital journey of an employee, so we can understand immediately what is happening. Do we have something to change or to replicate in the connectivity? Do we have privileges problems? Do we have compliancy issues? Do we have connectivity issues? Or do we have application issues? And know that immediately to be capable to do the job extremely fast. And that will give us the whole context. We are not understanding these things from time to time. We are not sampling. We want the whole context all the time, because when we have the context, workplace management teams will know much easier what needs to be replicated and what needs to be avoided. And when we know the context, that's what gives value, in our opinion, to the employees' feedback or the employees' sentiment, because having his feedback on an email survey it doesn't help me as a workplace management person to know what needs to be done, because it's not actionable at all and it can be subjective. So that's always what we try to do, which is we know all of this, we know the context, and then we add on top of that what is the sentiment of the employee. And so we're going to understand exactly what is the relationship between what is happening factually and the sentiment of the employee, so we can replicate what needs to be replicated. So that is basically what Nexthink tried since the start to solve, and that's what we continued, and we augmented step by step. And I'm going to show you now a couple of examples on the solution itself, how it can work. So I'm going to, take you through a couple of screens. And I'm going to start by the main console, maybe, that actually when we deliver our projects, workplace management teams will get immediately. Of course, they have many other screens. There are, a full list of dashboards and analysis and alerting that is coming. But let's start by this, which is, we call it the experience cockpit, which is given immediately to us what is happening, what is not happening well, what needs to be corrected. And in the same time, through all the AIs we have in the back, is saying to us, these are the problems, these are the playbooks that you should apply to correct those problems. And, of course, all of our, customers will immediately jump on the business applications, cockpit. And this is what I wanted to say from the beginning. We believe that, workplace teams are becoming the center of the corporate IT, and what executives are expecting and what employees are expecting from the workplace, teams is not only the configuration of the device or the configuration of the privileges. They are expecting that actually the employees can use the ERP, the CRM, the collaboration tools, and that's how we're going to be judged. And that's what we try to solve from the start, which is, let us take the full thing. So here, if you can see, with the cockpit, immediately we see that Nexthink is saying, look, the majority of the employees are having great experience. They are capable to work with all the business applications, but there are 53 people who are truly struggling when it comes to business application. In the bottom, Nexthink gonna give what are those business applications that employees are struggling with. And you can see here, for instance, we have SAP. Nexthink is saying there are 14 people struggling with SAP. ERP, there are 7 people struggling with SAP. We can also see it in more details. Very quickly, I'm going to take you through that. And I'm going to, for instance, what happened in this project is that immediately the team went to the ERP and said, okay, so what is happening with the ERP? It is our main application. Why people could not connect? And here Nexthink already gave an answer, which is, look, you have 7 people who are having application crashes with their ERP, and that's why they are not able to actually consume properly the ERP service. Now, how the data is coming and how maybe in the back what is happening. And I'm going to take you to the second console that is the most preferred one. I'm very nostalgic of this console, even if today we move it to the web and our customers are using another one. But I love this one because it was the start of Nexthink, and that's why maybe I'm going to use it. And when we go here and we look to the ERP service, what Nexthink already correlated the data and said, look, there are 57 people who are trying to use the ERP today. 7 of them are having some issues. And Nexthink said it is crashes. It didn't say that we have a problem of a network or people could not connect, because already Nexting correlated many data in the back and said, look, when I look to, if I have any failed connections, we don't see really major failed connections. There are absolutely normals. Everybody is capable to connect to the back end of the ERP. So that is not the problem. We see some crashes. And here, what the consultant of Nexting did that day is came and said, okay, can you show me the ERP exe that are used today? Just ask that question to Nexting, and immediately that query gonna run, because everything is already, as I said, correlated, understood, and the consultant will choose. But that day, I was with him and he said, can you show me all the binaries that are matching the ERP.exe today? And we found that there are two versions of the ERP.exe used today. What we're gonna do again, just with a few clicks, we're gonna say, can you show me the number of users for each one? Can you show me the number of devices for each one? And actually, what I wanna do as well is go to the errors and pick the number of application crashes for every single version. And immediately, what we saw is that, look, there is an older version of the ERP.exe that is used by 91% right now, and they are having 0 crashes. There is actually a new version that is used by 16 people, and they are having 35 crashes. And immediately it was clear that, and the team of the customer is, yes, we are updating, doing an upgrade on the ERP.exe, and that's what is happening. The new rollout is not stable, and the people who are using, who received the new rollout and starting using it, actually they are having crashes and they are not able to work. Of course, Nexting already, again in the back, can say whether, give me all the users or all the devices that are having that crash. So by simply click, those all devices are listed. What we're gonna do, you can imagine, is select all of them, and just by one click, we're gonna use a custom action or remote actions, or integrate with a CCM or with Intune actually to roll back this version and go back to the last version, so we can, make people work. Now, before I move to that, maybe something that I forgot to say, which is, how many people are using it and how many people they may use it are two things that are quite different. And what I'm gonna do maybe is maybe important is to see, how many people actually are using it, how many people maybe are having that, just to see what is the package that is installed. And actually what we're gonna see is Nexting gonna give me, on top of the executables, on top of the applications that are used, how many people actually installed that package. And we see that it's not only 16 people, we have 45 people who actually installed the new package. So even if we know that maybe only one employee who suffered from it, only 16, they are suffering from it, but maybe they haven't raised the ticket or whatever, but actually there are 45 people who actually, if we leave them with that version, they're gonna actually start suffering, they will not be able to work. And to become much more proactive is to go pick all of those people who maybe didn't see the problem, but we can correct them extremely fast. Let me maybe, show you quickly another thing very quickly again, from what we can do as well with Nexting to explain how it works, and then we move to the next session. As you saw, there is the overall understanding of the capability of the employees to work. There is the on their business application, on their productivity applications, which is basically their Office, so Office 365, collaboration tools and everything, but also there is a big part on the device, how their devices are working. Are they giving them the right performance or not? Are they fit in terms of configuration, in terms of spec, in terms of sizing to their kind of work? And here when we see, again, next thing I'm gonna say immediately, look, there are 411 people who are actually having problems with their device. And when we go to the bottom, we see that, there are 1,200 people who are having a very long logon. There are 160 people who are having a high CPU and memory time, and all the problems that people are running with. So what we're gonna do here maybe is, again, what the consultant gonna do is to click and actually say, I want the details of all of those people. And immediately, again, we're gonna show all the details of those devices and the employees that are going through that problem. And he will do, for instance, this kind of things, which is trying to zoom on that device with that user to understand actually much more what is happening to that user. So, and that's, as I said before, next time correlated all the data before and showing them into actionable manner. So you have, what is the device behavior in terms of green IT? What is the hardware refresh, elements of that device, whether it needs to be refreshed or not, whether something needs to be repaired, and all the data that are already in terms of compliancy, in terms of things that needs to be supported on that device. Like, look, 721 days since the last reboot, this has to be rebooted again. The corporate antivirus is not compliant. And all of those data are already, as I said, are correlated. And all the properties also of that device and how many users and what is happening on it are correlated by next thing. But let's, maybe focus on our problem, which is what is happening with this, why this user is having a CPU issue. Next thing, already, gave the alert, put it in yellow and said, look, this user is having a high CPU usage, specifically when he's using Internet Explorer. And we're going to zoom out a bit and try to see when that problem started to happen. That's, to understand what needs to be changed. As I said before, it's important to understand all of those, as I said before, all of the context to understand why this is a problem, why other people don't have a problem. And when we go back to the in time, we will start to see what is happening. And here, for instance, you see that, every time there is something happening with a high CPU, we see that next thing is saying at that exact time or just before, there were new binary execution and a new package installation. And when I put here my mouse, I just see that, wow, that user, before he has started to have a problem with his CPU, there is an installation of a new package, the ask.com toolbar, and an execution of something that is absolutely not compliant. And given that we know that is related to Internet Explorer, immediately the customer, in this case, the workplace management team, understood that there is a link between that and the other. And by the way, what we can do as well is, is to say, show me all of the devices that, are having these packages. And immediately next thing, again, gonna go back to its data and just in 2 seconds, give us the data. We have 3 devices who are installing those packages. And if we click on all of them, we will find the same issue happening. And that's how we understand that there is a problem happening here. Before I leave you with this, and we move to the next session, maybe you have a question, but how is the data is coming, and always what I do here is I do, for instance, I ask, show me all the application, or show me all the devices that you have in your data. Next thing, and I'm going to click on all the applications. And next thing, immediately going to list all the applications that are used in this environment. By the way, and this is always what we say, next thing for workplace management people, it's like going into a dark room and switch on the light. Actually, they see, and it's impossible. We don't have all of those applications. I don't have 1,742 applications running in my environment. No, you have, and that's by simply, next thing, discovering all of that. And what we're gonna do as well is we're gonna ask, as usual, show me the number of users that is using each one of this application. And, when they started to be used, how many devices. And also I can ask, show me the total network traffic. I wanna see whether these applications are connecting to the outside or not. And immediately next thing, gonna give those answers. And why next thing is capable to give those answers? Just to give you a hint, what is happening in the back again. If I take, this application that frankly I don't know, and I ask, show me all the connections or all the execution or all the web requests that are happening with that application. And that's what next thing is capable to understand. We are capable to understand all the time in real time. Of course, when we install next thing, we filter based on the customer requirement, applications that we don't want to monitor, applications that are not important, and we filter them and we ignore them. But also, we can see everything. And immediately next thing, gonna start seeing for every single thing happening for the employee, what is happening to him, where he's going, what kind of performance. Is it something that is not working on the device or whatever? Also, if I ask, show me all the users in my environment, and the same thing. Also, next thing now is looking to the data from maybe another angle. Imagine like a cube of data, and we can look at it from the device, from the application, from the user. And here immediately, next thing gave us all the users. And of course, what is always important to the workplace management team, give me, the privileges of this user on his device. But then when we're gonna move application by application, we're gonna see the privileges he's using to use that application. And again, same thing here, what we're gonna say, give me all the devices that user is working on, give me his privileges, show me whether his persona, show me whether he's a remote worker or versus office worker, and immediately all of those data will be coming as well from Nexthink. So that's how Nexthink is actually gathering the data, as I said in my slide, sitting with every single employee and seeing what is happening to him, but with all the details that are needed to understand whether he has the right configurations, whether he has the right software, whether he has the right connectivity, and then correlate all of those data and see them and seeing them from multiple angles, whether we are trying to troubleshoot something, whether we are trying to prepare a migration, whether we are preparing to understand, hardware refresh, whether we are trying to understand compliance and risk, whether we are trying to drive a green IT, whether we are trying to drive security awareness to the end users, all of those data are there. The most important thing is that we look at them from a different angle. And what we always try to do, as I try to show in the dashboards, is that we try always to give all of this data to the workplace management team in a consumable manner. It's not logs that we need to analyze. Actually, the data are correlated already. If you click on Shadow IT, immediately you will see, what is going well, what is not going well, and you can correct. I'm going to stop there. I don't know, Ankhel, if there are questions or you want us to move to the next session.
Well, I have to tell you one thing. I'm really impressed of how to be honest, I hear about your solution because of many members talking about they know you. And I hear how you simplify, but I'm quite surprised the capabilities and the analytics that you can do with your solution is impressive. I mean, we were talking more about, we were talking about that because it seems to be very, very interesting. By the way, let me ask you a question that many people in the group, I hear, because in the community, we are a very close family that we share information. And I hear one of the questions that might is very interesting because, we are a very SNCM into guys.
Yeah.
How next thing complementing the management tools like SNCM and Intunes or others is how you are adding more. How is your add value to this?
Yeah. So first of all, our objective since the start was to complement those solutions. Next thing, as I showed, doesn't do management, doesn't roll out softwares, doesn't do upgrades. Next thing is really giving that very granular understanding, but very granular understanding without, scripting upfront. Without, what I use it to say with a CCM, with other tools, you need to know what is your question. First of all, what are you looking for? You script it and you wait for the script to run. That will give you the data. We wanted always to solve that. The data are ready already, are there. You don't need to script anything. It's just a query you can do. And that's how we're going to complement. And then with the CCM, we have a native bridge that integrates next thing to a CCM immediately. So for instance, in the case I showed you, when there is something to change, by one click, you can say, create, a collection on a CCM, and next thing gonna immediately send to a CCM. This is the list of your devices. This is the package that needs to be rolled back or actually upgraded. And the CCM admin gonna find that ready already in his console. And the bridge works in the other side as well. When we are working on a CCM and we need an information right now about something happening, immediately there is a button that's gonna ask next thing to give you that information. And we integrate with all the orchestration tools, with all the management tools with the same purpose, which is, giving those information immediately to those. So that's how we do it.
So you work in harmony with all the environment, and you can perfectly adapt it, and you can perfectly add value to to improve it. In fact, those tools. Very interesting. Very interesting. Look, we have. If you answer to me one more question, we're short because we are running a bit late. If we're going to move for the top 10. Just very short, very short. At the query investigation and dashboard that you show is coming by default inside the solution, or next thing you use the different create your own?
So there is a huge library that comes by default,
right?
With that we are building expertise all along our projects and everything. And our customers can just go to that library and say, I want this, I want it to be local in my place. But then, all of our customers, they create their own dashboards, they create their own scripts, they create as well, their own queries and everything. So you have both. And I wanted to answer very quickly a question that I saw on the chat. On macOS, yes, next thing does the same thing on Windows OS like on Mac OS with full parity. So we have customers who have both operating systems, and we do equally the same thing on Mac OS and Windows OS.
Very important, because today companies have fully mixed. And what I mean is today is very easy. It's very easy to find it. Yassine, I think is great. We are on time. Let's move in now. So if you kindly could you please share the link using the link that and let's move it to the slide that, and then I'm going to quickly introduce the two first slides and the third one. Okay, guys, we are using the great session from Yassine from NetSync to announce one of the activities, okay, that I have created. We did the past, okay, but since I think we started in November, okay, we created the top 10, okay, top 10 of the most vote or most reaction and commented, because it's not just reaction, just let you know, like it's not just reaction, it's also that the posting or the publication that you do in the community, it's very important that people also comments and ask questions. That is very important. So we created that, okay, in order to really to make it something to recognize the wonderful job you do. That's why it's going to be much better. Well, in fact, the proof is here, because now in the March, because it's our 3rd anniversary, of course, we are going to make it some nice gift thanks to the sponsor, Yassine Technologies, NetThink, and Acronis. They very kindly offering us a few gifts. And I'm going to say, of course, you're not going, sorry for the joke, but you're not going to be millionaire of that, of course. But the intention here, truly intention here, guys, is to recognize your work, okay? I can put in your place how beautiful it is that your post is, is named here. And if it's not, no worry, next month will happen, because monthly posts will keep in forever as long as we have this beautiful community. So could you please move to the next one?
Yeah.
I will just let you know, guys, because many people, how do you get the top? In fact, the top 10 is something that we do automatically from the analytics that LinkedIn provide to us, okay? As an administrator, I got the possibility to access to this information and to get out this information by a rules, which makes sense, okay? As you can read there, and it's very simple. Reaction got a value and comment have another value. So therefore, altogether, it gave a value to recognize who is the most engagement post in the community. That is not something that, it possibly that you, for example, see a post with a few or less likes and more comments, and it's more better positioned, just because comments is for LinkedIn algorithm more important than just reaction, okay? Just let you know that, just to clarify. But that is, and this is the way we calculate it is the 30 days. I just do this from the day 1 until 31st or 30 of each month. Of course, the post, keep in mind, is not static. Meaning that, for example, if you go now, your post or the post can be increased, but because the reaction happened, let's say outside the date when we do, okay? Just to be clarifying that. So move next. Thanks to a sponsor, we are going to offer you, and we are going to tell you who is the top 10. Yassine, it's in your hands, okay? After the video, it's in your hands. That's all the gift. Nice words, nice teacher, nice book, by the way. It's running? Oh, okay, go ahead, Yassine.
No, the video is running.
It's running. The video is running. Just leave it.
The video is running, but I need to share with you I need to share this. I don't think you hear the sound, right?
We hear the sound, but
like you hear the sound. You hear the sound of the video?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, very good. So let's run it.
And that's also a very nice video key. And three footballs from Arsenal signature. Thank you, sponsor. Thank you very much. I'm pretty sure that those winners will be very happy. I'm very appreciative. Go ahead, Yassine. Tell us who is the top 10.
Okay, so let's go into the top 10. We have Andrew Taylor, who got the 10th position. I look at, by the way, to the posts, all of them, and I always wanted, to have the chance, maybe if I knew Andrew, that I would have pinged you on the message, but now I'm gonna connect with all of you, and sometimes, I wanna just react, ask you some question, because frankly, all what you did is actually great, and how to configure a conditional access policy for only compliant. It's fascinating how it is important. I remember my days delivering projects with Nextlink and all the workplace management. Can you just give me the list of people that are compliant, people that are not compliant? Can I have a matrix between the employee, his privileges, the protocol he's connecting with to every application? I know how this is important, and what you did in the post really compelled it to me, really interested me a lot, because it's easy and simple. 9th, Damien Van Robe, same thing, great post working on, the analytics workbook. It's quite a new log, analytics workbook, really amazing, way of representing data and getting data. Bravo, Damien. 8, Manish, and I saw Manish actually very active in the community, posting several posts. Really, all of them are helpful. How to configure update compliance reports for Intune. Again, great topic. And Nextlink started as the first projects we delivered were about security and compliance. Today, all of our customers for the last maybe 5 years used Nextlink in much more in the digital employee experience. But given what is happening lately with remote working, we see the increase of the need for compliancy. So anything around compliancy, anything around simplifying this is really well done and very, very important. Dujon, again, a great post, custom device name conventions. It may seem easy, but knowing many projects, it's quite complicated. It is not that straightforward, and I think really helpful methodology to do it. 6, Damien again about Intune with right-click tool, which is an amazing. I discovered the tool through this post. Thank you very much, Damien. Really very helpful and very insightful. 5th position, Niels, elevate administrative tools menu for endpoints. Seriously, I think all the workplace management people should give an applause, because sometimes I don't know why, the tools that are done for workplace management people, sometimes they are the least user friendly, and having a better menu to actually very quickly do what needs to be done is absolutely extremely helpful. We go back to Manish. Again, I saw in the community that you are very active. How to block access to Office 365 if Windows devices, are not under this condition or that condition. Again, with all the projects we do at Nextlink, we see how much this is needed. Show me. And sometimes it's complicated. Sometimes it's not 1 or 2 conditions. It's a complicated, condition. So really, great post, very helpful and very insightful. We're going to move to the 3 winners. Angel, you want to take the lead on the 3 winners?
No. You are doing really
Okay.
nice. I'm just listening. In fact, you are having some news comments in track, which sounds very nice. Go ahead. Go on.
Angel, for the 3 winners, I want to say something. You heard me in the beginning saying that today I run, corporate marketing and product marketing at Nextlink. Of course, part of the corporate marketing team, we have the social media team. And given, frankly, the huge success of your posts, if somebody wants to get to join, social, network team in the marketing team at Nextlink and show us how to do posts that are so popular and generating so much interest, you are welcome, please. I would like to have your advices as well, because it's impressive, when you reach between, look, when you exceed 200, interaction is absolutely amazing. But when you reach 400 or whatever, it's 350, it's absolutely, a huge success. And frankly, bravo to all of you. So the first one, the third position is for Dujon, Endpoint Manager Enhancing Application Management Series. Bravo, well done. This is, again, I saw the post, so compelling, so insightful, really helpful, and the number of reactions and the number of, interaction with the post has been great. I don't know, Dujon, if you want to say a couple of words about yourself and your post.
Sure, yeah. Well, I'm very, very happy that I've actually made it. Well, the fact that I've even made it in the top 10, it's so much fierce competition in this group. So I'm happy to even be mentioned on here. So yeah, that's a very good achievement for me, which I'm happy for. So yeah, so this series is just sort of a way of I guess grouping a lot of sort of best practices and sort of a way to sort of clear up these sort of overlaps on sort of how you would do sort of application management. So I've been very heavy into sort of the actual processes and structuring of workflows and trying to sort of bring things together. And so this one is the is like the second part of the series. So I've got quite a few more coming, but yeah, that's pretty much the idea of it. So I'm definitely going to continue to sort of get another part out very soon. But yeah, definitely, I don't know what else to say. The fact I've made it first.
Well done. No, well done.
Very well done. Well done, Gideon.
Yeah, and keep them coming, Dujon. Keep them coming. We need this kind of. The second one, Peter. Create country-based device group with logic. Peter, in Nextlink, we always have this, we install Nextlink in a couple of hours, but then it takes a couple of days to do the configuration of the employee hierarchy, based on their country, on their location, on their teams. So I know how much, it is not an easy task. And I saw your post. Thank you very much. Very compelling, very insightful. How to group, the device groups with the logic to make it, more easier to manage. Bravo, Peter. And if you could say a couple of words about maybe yourself and your post.
Yes, thank you, Yassine. Yeah, lastly, I've been working more and more with logic apps. I'm not a guy which knows my PowerShell well like other members in the group, but I do like working automation with the logic apps. In this case, we had we needed to have our mobile devices grouped in groups so we can do some Intune airbag. So yeah, thinking of, I'm not going to do it with PowerShell again. I do it with a logic app. So yeah, logic app again and again in my case. And then I know that other people are also struggling with these kinds of things. So I share them with the community, and I love to share them with the community and get the feedback. And I see that other people certainly in our LinkedIn group are also sharing a lot of interesting stuff. It's hard to beat a lot of these guys and girls to beat this time top two. But yeah, I think the next time one of the other guys is in the top 10 because yeah, great content and everybody is so involved in this LinkedIn group. So yeah, I'm also honored to be the number 2 of this month.
Yeah, no, great, well done, Peter. If I may ask you a question, Peter, because we face ourselves this needs of a grouping every single day, and what do you see the biggest need for grouping? Is it the persona, the work style, the kind of job people are doing? Is whether they are their level in the hierarchy? What do you see in your work the most?
For me, I see it as an IT admin perspective. So we need to group them based on a business unit, or we need to group them on a country, and that's done because the business unit or the country have themselves their own IT admin. And they need, in this case, some certain permissions in Intune, and we can only provide that by creating these kind of groups. So from an IT perspective, yeah, it's done on a business unit level or a country level.
Yeah, no, very good, absolutely. Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you. Well done.
Well done, Peter.
And the winner, as I said, Nicholas, to be honest, I'm gonna contact you to give to my team who is doing social network some advices how to reach, 355 likes and interaction. That's quite an achievement. That's really quite an achievement, Nicholas. And but I thought that maybe you chose the right keyword, because BitLocker is always coming back. It is like open season when you use that keyword. And myself, when I saw BitLocker, I wanted to understand, hey, what you're gonna talk about, and I found your post really helpful and insightful. So well done. And if you can tell us a little bit more about yourself and about the post.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm sure it's all about the good-looking colors in this tool. I was a little bit afraid when I did it, but I said no, YOLO, and I stuck with it. That's usually what I do. I follow my, the stomach feeling. So it did work out really well. And for the idea of this tool is basically just to make it kind of self-explaining, but still really powerful to use. That's the main idea when I create a tool like this.
No, it's really well done.
Yeah, thank you. So, well, about the tool, basically what it will help us to do is get the BitLocker recovery key from whether it's in AD or Azure AD, or it doesn't matter. It's a single pane of glass, and we will fetch the key wherever it's located.
Very helpful, Nicholas. This story of keys, of passwords, I think many times we underestimate how much work it needs. Sometimes I say 50% of the tickets in the service desk are related to password. We underestimate how much that is time consuming for employees and for workplace teams. Same thing for the BitLockers, recovery key. So very helpful, very insightful, really well done. Really. And well done for the 300.
Thank you. And congrats to us all for being part of this awesome community. We are all winners in this group.
That's well said.
Well done. Yeah. Very nice, Nicholas. Very nice. It's good to hear that. It's true. Look, I think that Yassine, we are right at the end. And any things that or any question that might be we arrived just right now. It's 59. It's 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock Central Europe. We have to say that because it's been crazy how many people have been confused with the time. I recognize me also when I try, because it's a global event, and organizing that is, you cannot imagine, people is calculating, okay, what is my local time? Is it now 1 o'clock? It's just a little bit confusing. But at the end, we arrived to, and everyone is aware about what time it is at each session. So we arrive at the end. Anything else you want to add from your side, Yassine? I think that, thank you for your session. It's great.
I personally, again, as I said, I'm only thankful to you and Khal and to all the community for inviting me. As I tried to say, all what we do at Nextlink and all what we did was based on, I always say this, there is a contradiction. There is a and I think today it's much more clear, and we are happy that everybody is recognized. But there is a contradiction that, the team that is in contact with all the employees, trying to help the employees, has been for years the team that doesn't have, the tooling and the solutions and that will enable them to do their job. We are happy today that everybody is realizing it, because, maybe in a couple of years in the corporate IT, maybe the infra team will disappear, the network team will disappear because everything is coming a cloud and SaaS, and the workplace management team is taking the place that it should have taken since years, which is the most central one, because it's enabling employees to work and enjoy the company. So that's why I'm so happy to be with this community, and I thank you very much. And Khal, do not hesitate if you have any question, to contact me on LinkedIn or by email, yassine.zaied@nextlink.com. We'll be happy to interact with all of you in the future.
Okay, well, I think with the last word that you say, is me who say to you, thank you. Keep doing nice solutions, and Nextlink you are doing. By the way, I love your brand name. Nextlink is something that I really like. I told Pedro, I think I told him, you guys, you did a very great job, and you are doing a great growing, and more and more and more. And that is because you are doing something great. Maybe you are doing something good. Otherwise, no one is growing, and something happened. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for this session. We're going to do a pause. They get back at 5 o'clock. People probably from the US, because now it's starting the morning there. So let's see now the people in the morning, from them in the afternoon, evening for us. Nice. Bye-bye, guys. Everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.